Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called How to Turn $1 Million into $50,000. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. I'd also like to tell you about a service called HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities for just $19.95. So give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's get started. Everywhere you go, all you hear about now is the economy. Whether you're watching the news, whether you're cruising the internet, whether you're talking to friends, whether it's the Uber driver, all anybody talks about is the economy. Why is that? Well, I think it's because of stress. Additionally, we believe that the reason for this is that people are instinctively sensing that something is getting much worse out there than it's ever been before. And what makes it so bad is how much misdirection and deception and spinning is going on out there. So many people, never in the history of the United States have so many people tried so hard to tell you that something wasn't happening, that the economy wasn't in a terrible situation, that the economy is growing really fast, even though everywhere you look, there are businesses closing down, shuttering, filing for bankruptcy, homeless people living on street corners. Everywhere you look, your eyes are telling you one thing, but the media is telling you something else. So people are hearing about inflation, and they sort of kind of know that it means prices are increasing. But beyond that, most people don't really know what its true ramifications are. There was this great movie called The Big Short that starred Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling, and Brad Pitt. It's about the financial collapse of 2008 that was caused by all the bad and fraudulent mortgages that were written back then. The Christian Bale character in that movie was based on a real-life person named Michael Burry, who made a mountain of money predicting the collapse when no one else thought it would actually happen. In fact, most of his clients didn't believe that it would happen, and they were trying to attack Michael for making investments designed to allow them to profit off the coming collapse. Some of them were even threatening to sue him because of it. So it's a fascinating movie because everything that happened back then is playing out now, only on a much grander and more dangerous level. A lot of the nonsense that was happening in the mortgage industry back then is happening now, and in some ways is even worse now. This time, instead of one massive real estate bubble popping like in 2008, Michael Burry recently announced that he's predicting we're going to have all bubbles popping very soon. In fact, he predicts that all the bubbles will pop and that people will lose at least 90% of everything they have. Think about that, 90%. That's a really aggressive prediction. But unfortunately, I think it's conservative. I think it's going to be much, much worse than that. We believe that when you factor in the lingering after effects of the pandemic and all the jobs and the businesses and organizations that it has wiped out, then we think this crash, this fast approaching crash, is going to be much worse. The reason for that is that in the past, when people lost their jobs and their high incomes, they could always drift down the economic ladder and find some terribly crappy, low-paying job and try to survive and put food on the table that way. But this time, people won't have that option because many of those jobs in retail or the restaurant sector or the service sector, they have not only been wiped out, but the companies that offer them have filed for bankruptcy. Gone, toast, hasta la vista. Not there anymore. That safety net is gone. Also, you know how being able to go back to your parents and live with them, so you could stay in their basement for a while until you got back on your feet. Well, a lot of the safety nets that parents used to be able to provide, a lot of those safety nets have disappeared as well, because the parents themselves have been slammed by some massive financial loss, or other issues. And those same parents that would have helped before are struggling and they just don't have it to give. Now, there are a lot of people out there who may have accrued $1 million in their retirement accounts, their 401s, their stock accounts. It's taken them decades, and they're counting on that money to help them when they need it. People don't realize how difficult it is to save just a little bit of money these days. Not that $1 million is a little bit of money, but saving any money is a Herculean task. Unfortunately, we don't believe that money will be there when it's needed. We predict that a lot of that money will disappear in the next crash. When that happens, a lot of these people will be wiped out. What happens when they do get wiped out in the second half of their lives? Well, statistically and historically, that's usually not something most people can bounce back from in the second half of the game. Recovering after 50 is really, really difficult. There are a lot of obstacles, a lot of reasons, and a lot of challenges that stand in your way when you're trying to bounce back after 50. In fact, it's irrevocably devastating for most people. Now, I don't give financial advice, but I can tell you what we see happening. And what the smart money is doing right now is they're exiting the markets and converting a lot of their holdings into cash. Why? So they can then use that cash to buy physical assets that are generating cash flow. At this point, that usually means rental property, but there are now so many organizations and companies and hedge funds purchasing rental property that the price for them is skyrocketing. You now have hedge funds that are routinely coming into the market and buying entire neighborhoods, entire blocks of buildings, homes, and apartment buildings, and offering a premium of 30 to 50% over ask. And when you're offering premiums like that, no normal person who's looking for their first or second home is going to be able to compete with that. They're just not going to. That's too much of a premium to overcome with another bid. So, why would they do that, you ask? Why would these entities move in and overpay so dramatically at this time? Well, the answer is it is better to overpay by 50% when you're buying something like a rental unit that is generating cash flow than it is to continue owning stocks or cash, which are losing their value at an accelerated rate. Some people predict that cash and paper assets like stocks are going to lose 90% of their value. Other people who can't afford to buy homes or apartment buildings are in turn purchasing gold and silver coins. They feel that gold and silver will keep its value after all the paper assets are eviscerated, after they turn to dust. It's not just hedge funds that are doing this, it is also governments. Many foreign governments are quietly and very discreetly accumulating as much gold, physical gold, and silver as they can, and they are stockpiling it in preparation for what they see coming. You know what else they're doing? They're purchasing gold mines all over the world, gold and silver mines as quickly as they can. And they're also very aggressively trying to purchase rare earth mineral mines. Because the demand for that will only increase in the coming years. So those assets are being purchased at tremendous premiums. So now you have to ask yourself a serious question. If so many hedge funds and other organizations are moving so aggressively into gold and silver and physical cash flow generating assets, is there anything very serious going on that you should be aware of? Something that you should pay attention to? Well, I think people should start researching that question very, very seriously, because we believe there is something serious going on. And when it actually happens, I predict people's dollar accounts will lose 90 to 95% of their value or buying power. We also believe that the greatest horror movie of all time is going to be released soon, and you'll be able to watch it at the stock market, on the real estate market, in the banking system, and on grocery store shelves near you soon. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. I want to tell you that we're going to have more great celebrity interviews coming up and more breaking news stories in the near future. So we encourage you to subscribe to our free channel, click on the notification bell, and tell all your friends about our channel. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you soon. Bye-bye.